everyone. Thank you so much for seeing my face fly across your screen and deciding to hit the big old triangle in the middle to see what I had to say. I appreciate it so much. Today we are going to spend some time sewing snapdragons. Yes, and I also have a couple of other tips and tricks that I want to share with you, all 5 of you watching right now, because that's how big my audience is probably going to be from this. But so snapdragons. Some of you probably know already, maybe 2 out of the 5 of you know who I am already, but if there's 3 of you watching right now, my name is Liz Lewis. I live in northern Maine in Zone 4. Some people like to argue that it's more like Zone 3, some of the locals around here. But the professionals, on the Google and all that stuff, say that we definitely live in Zone 4, and Zone 3 is more like towards the Mars Hill area. So whatever, we're kind of on the cusp of Zone 3 and 4, and all that really means to me is that I have a really, really, really short growing season, and so I have to be super organized and strategic with my planting season and my plans for the year. And I think I'm going to have a pretty good season this year because I have been doing tons of research and just watching all kinds of other professionals that grow beautiful gardens and flowers and all of that stuff, and I'm just absorbing the knowledge like a sponge. So, and seeing that I'm an educator, I teach kindergarten. I'm going into my 8th year. Next year will be my 8th year. I'm an educator. I learn something, I've got to teach it. So this is the reason for this YouTube channel, so you guys can go on this journey with me, because I know a lot of people, especially around here in our community, they're gardeners. It's what we do up here. We are self-sufficient. We want our own food that's healthy. We don't want to be dependent on grocery stores, and we want to stock our freezers, but where we live in Zone 4, maybe 3, it's hard. It's hard. We have a lot of issues that are against us being able to grow successfully here. And I've been gardening for a long time. There's very few summers since I've lived in Maine that I did not have a pretty big garden. And I'm just getting more and more and more into it as I get older. And with everything that's happening in the world, it's a smart thing to do. So, yes, we are confronted with pests and weather and frosts and just crazy, crazy, crazy elements. And we have an extremely short growing season, so it's just so complicated. So it takes a lot of planning, and so that's why I'm hoping that these videos will help any of you who want to also delve into the world of gardening and being a little bit more self-sufficient, and it's a lot cheaper too. So, and I'm going to give you a lot of money-saving tricks as well. So, yes, back to snapdragons. A lot of you are saying right now it's mid-February, it's way too early to be starting snapdragons, and you're kind of right. It is really early to be starting snapdragons, and it really depends on the variety of snapdragons that you're going to be planting. Another thing that I forgot to say is that, as well as all of my vegetables and strawberries and everything that many of you, all 5 of you, again, watching, know I grow, I'm going to be growing cut flowers this year too. And we'll get into the reasons why that is in another video. I don't really care for it to be in this video because it has to do with all the nonsense of 2020, and I just don't want to talk about it right now because it makes me sad, and snapdragons make me happy. So anyway, I have some snapdragon seeds. And so if you read the back of your snapdragon packet, which, it's funny, most people don't do, which you really should do, read the back. And so these say days to bloom, 55 to 100 days. That's a big window, okay? That's a huge window. So you might be thinking, okay, so is it 55 that these will be mature, or 100, right? And really that depends on your zone. All right, so you look at the little zone map down there, but reading the back of the packets is really important. And then these snapdragons, which are the Madame Butterfly, super, super fancy, roughly gorgeous sunflowers. They grow within like 110 to 120 days for maturity. So, again, planting today and counting 100 days from now, that only gets me to like right around Memorial Day, right? Probably. Somewhere around there. But again, gardening takes research and planning. And so I know that I'm going to succession plant because I live in zone 4. I need to succession plant. All that means is that you're not going to plant all of your seeds at one time. You're going to divide your plantings up. That's all it means. And there's a ton of reasons why you would want to succession plant, like a ton of reasons why. And I'm going to give you a few reasons today. But these will be succession planted. So it means that I'm going to start some of them today. In 10 days from now, I'm going to sow some more. And then 10 days after that, I'm going to sow my last batch of Snapdragons. For one, they already have a really long, like I just showed you, 110 to 120 maturity date. So that just means when I'll be able to harvest actual flowers. But why do I want to succession plant these? Because Snapdragons are actually a cut and come again flower. You cut, another one grows. So it goes with that, don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. I am a forgetful person, a very forgetful person. If I were to take, and these were not cheap. These, this Johnny's seeds, selected seeds, they're fantastic seeds, but they were not cheap. And if you're just a regular home grower right now, you cannot get, Johnny's isn't even selling anymore to just home growers. Are only selling commercial right now because the demand for seeds is so high, right? And they guarantee like 90% germination, like they have really, really good germination, fresh, healthy seeds. So, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, especially if you're a forgetful person like me. You go one day without remembering to water or turn the light on or something or shut the light off, and you just killed an entire tray of seeds, and you're probably not going to be able to get them again. And 110 to 120 days, you're not going to have enough time to replant, okay? So if you succession plant, right? Say in a week from now, I forget, I've got some germination happening, but I forget to water for 2 days and they all die. I still have seeds to start over again and it's still early enough. So that's one reason why I succession plant. Another reason why is because Snapdragons, and you have to study, you have to do research on your flower choices. Okay, you can't just say, I like those, I'm going to throw them in the ground and hope they grow, because that would just be a big waste of time. Snapdragons, it's recommended that you pinch them. So all that means is that when you've got your little seedling and it's grown enough where it has at least 2 sets of true leaves, you pinch the top off, right? And then that's going to force the plant to shoot its energy into new branches. And so one seedling could give you 5 or 6 flowers. Whereas if you didn't pinch it, if you know what a Snapdragon looks like, okay, you're just going to get 1 spike. Now, some of you might already know this. Some of you, I hope I'm teaching somebody something. All right, you're just going to get 1 spike. But there's always a but, okay? Pinching does affect the way the flowers look in the end. So if you don't pinch, which I can tell by looking at these, that these are not pinched Snapdragons, you only get the 1 spike, but it's gorgeous, okay? It's a big, tall, probably 25 blooms of flowers going up to the tip of it, and they're big, and it's just gorgeous, right? If you pinch, chances are, depending on the variety of Snapdragon as well, you're going to get lots and lots of blooms, but they're not going to be big and full and gorgeous, like 1 spike with like 30 flowers growing up it. You're going to get a spike with like 10 flowers growing up it, but you're still going to get more of them. So for me, I like a mixture. So the ones that I'm going to sow today with you, I'm going to pinch all of them when they're at their proper height and they've had at least 2 sets of true leaves. Okay? I'm going to pinch every single one of them. And then 10 days, and with the seedlings that I'm going to sow 10 days later, I'm going to pinch half of them because I'm going to want still more blooms, but I'm also going to want these mamma jamma, gorgeous, big, thick, full spikes, Snapdragon spikes. And then the last sowing that I'm going to do, I'm not going to pinch any of those. Okay, so I'm going to have an even mixture of pinched and unpinched Snapdragons. Now, when you pinch a Snapdragon, okay, it sets you back at least a week or so, right? Because all of that beautiful growth, you're just going to pinch it off, and it's hard to do. It's really hard to do. It's like, you get in there and you just pinch it and just don't look. Just don't look when you do it. But you do get more blooms, and when you're putting bouquets together, which is what I love to do, right? It's my hobby. It's my other passion besides teaching. As you need little flowers, little delicate, lovely ones, and you need big, bold, dramatic ones like sunflowers and lilies, right? If I were to put together a sunflower and lily bouquet, I wouldn't really want the big mamma jamma Snapdragons because I want the real attention to go on the lilies and the sunflowers. But if I had smaller, more delicate, cloudy looking like Snapdragons in the bouquet, it's just going to be the right touch and the beautiful pop of color. So that's the type of planning this type of gardening requires. I just taught you a lot in a very short amount of time, and I was only on one subject, succession planting. Once you get these things in the ground too, they're all going to be different stages of life, right? You're going to have the ones that I start today. Those are going to be the oldest and the most mature. Well, they'll also could possibly be the tallest, depending on how they grow, or they might not be. I mean, the ones that I don't pinch will be the tallest, right? And I've got them all out in the field, and they're gorgeous and growing happily, and then a deer comes along, and decides to eat the buds off of all the ones that I didn't pinch. Well, thanks a lot, deer, right? Or, you have a pest, like a thrip. I guess there's this new bug I've not heard about called a thrip that just loves to eat flowers like dahlias and sunflowers and, just destroy things. So that is in my brain to start thinking about preventing thrips already. I'm already on the defense or offense or defense of preventing thrips, right? Drought. Last year we had a terrible drought, So, there's all kinds of things that are coming at us saying, oh, we're not going to let you grow that. Well, you know what? I'm going to grow it anyway. And I'm going to be ready for it. So if something were to come along and kill some of my more mature plants, I know that I succession planted, so I've got more coming, And so that's just a really smart thing to do. So I'm going to succession plant today. So I know the title of my YouTube video here is Don't Waste Your Money. And here's where I want to teach you about not wasting your money. Containers for planting your seedlings in. Don't waste your money. I was at Walmart maybe yesterday, I don't know. I was at Walmart and they've already got, the seeds out, and they've got like the Jiffy containers out with the plastic domes and the black trays and the little pellets inside and all that. And I saw this lady and she had like 6 of them. Right? 6 or maybe 7, probably 7 of them in her cart. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, oh my gosh, that's like $35, right? She's obviously going to be planting a lot of seeds. I can see that. She's going to plant a lot of seeds. You don't need 7 of those trays if you're, they hold like 72 plugs in them. You're not going to be doing a little amount of gardening with 7 of those trays. So I was like, that's like $35. That's like tons of seeds. And like with $35, you can buy like really nice compost and, some worm castings or something. Like, oh my gosh, what is she doing? And so I am not, I'm a teacher. I do not have the extra funds to be going out and spending $35 on trays to plant my seedlings in when I can find things right at my house or right where I work, anywhere. Okay, so you have to think, you have to be smart. Like I said, I'm thinking about this stuff all the time. I've been planning on growing cut flowers and my vegetables and for all year. I'm planning all year long, right? And so we go to Sam's Club, okay? And my daughter, who had my Sam's Club card, she goes to school in Bangor, you know, she comes home with this, okay? It was full of croissants at the time. They're delicious. I highly recommend you go to Sam's Club and get the croissants. Oh, they're so good. Anyway, and I'm just like, whoa, look at that. It's a Jiffy tray with a dome. All you gotta do is poke a couple holes in the bottom. Boom, you're done. Okay? Perfect planting vessel. Save things like this. All right? If you're a big salad eater, which, you know, we kind of are, save these containers, okay? You fill it up about halfway with the soil, you put your seeds on top, a little bit more soil, and you don't have to snap this lid down totally tight. Just lay it down, and you've got a perfect humidity dome right here. You know, I grow my own strawberries, okay? But I don't really get to keep that many of them. We sell them, obviously. So there are times in the year where I have to, you know, especially around Christmas time, where I have to buy strawberries from the grocery store. I'm not going to do that this year. I'm going to pack my freezer. I'm going to get another freezer. Anyway, strawberry containers. They already have the holes in the bottom and the top. Perfect. Perfect little planter for all kinds of seedlings. You just sprinkle them on top, and then in future videos I'll show you how to separate the seedlings. Okay, another one at Sam's Club. All right, my daughter came home with these things. Okay, they're called macarons. That's what she calls them, macarons. I don't know. They were disgusting, whatever they were. Some French cookie or whatever. I don't know what they were. But look at the tray, and look at all these pods. I mean, hello, I could probably sow my snapdragons in these today, right? Because wait till you see the size of the snapdragon seeds. Oh my God, it's gonna be so stressful. Anyway, save these things. It even came with a lid. Okay, it's perfect. Cost me nothing. I mean, the food that was inside costed, but this, I'm not buying those Jiffy pots or anything like that. Forget it. Okay, another strawberry container. This is actually what I'm going to plant the snapdragons in. Save these. Save them. Look. Perfect. You pour your water in, you bottom feeding. You're not having to worry about damaging your seedlings on the top with overwatering and drowning the stems and all that stuff. Look it. It's just, I think it had boneless chicken in it or something. I don't know. Save it. Another thing, yogurt cups, juice cups. We've all been through the whole remote learning thing, right? All these milk cartons came home. A lot of, if you're watching this and you're still getting these milk cartons home, save them. These are the perfect container for tomato plants. Perfect container for tomato plants, okay? I'm going to transplant once these snapdragons are big enough. I'm going to be transplanting them into containers like this, okay? So save your money any way you can. What are other things that you need to grow flowers? Watering cans. Don't buy watering cans, okay? You want to see my fancy schmancy watering can? I'll show you my fancy schmancy watering can. I actually have like 5 of them, so I can keep them in different parts of the garden. All right, so I don't have to, where's a watering can and, run 500 feet that way to go find it. I have them all over the place. You ready to see what my watering cans look like? And this is for when the plants are young, obviously. Ready? Here it comes. Here's my fancy schmancy expensive watering can. Here it is. All rinsed out. I spent a good amount of time rinsing it. I took a little push pin, poked a bunch of holes in the top. It works perfect. It works perfect for my seedlings in the house, and it works perfect out in the field for the plants, the young ones. I mean, obviously the bigger ones, they can handle the sprinkler or the we also have irrigation and lots of places in the garden. That works too. right? Irrigation. Definitely invest in an irrigation system. But that's just some of my tips and tricks for today, okay? Don't throw these things away. And it also makes you feel good because you're repurposing something that would just end up in a landfill and then eventually into our ocean. We don't want that. We don't want that. So, I'm going to do some seeds now. And honestly, all I'm going to do is I like to start with a kind of dry-ish. Oh, sheesh, I don't want to make a huge mess here. Now I want you to be able to see what I'm doing, too. I don't know. Oh, okay. I don't know. No, I wish I was shorter because I'm not short enough. Okay, so, oh, look, I have like this lovely cup here, too. I kind of like to start with dry. Oh, and that's the other thing, too. You cannot, start healthy seedlings with just any dirt. Okay? You can't. It's not right. It's not fair. They're little. They're babies. They need all the help that they can get to grow healthy and strong. So, alright, so fine. I do buy this. I get the organic kind. You know, I don't do everything organic, but when I can, I do. You know, I will not use any synthetic fertilizers or chemical fertilizers on anything that I grow. It will always be natural, organic. I have one downstairs right now that smells really bad, but it works really good. It's a fish emulsion one. I mean, it's so not bad for your plants. I mean, you can just spray it on your grass. You don't have to worry about your pets walking on it or licking it or anything. It's not going to hurt anybody. It just smells bad. And I save all my eggshells. You might be wondering why I have, you know, these eggshells over here. I save my eggshells because I'm going to grind them all up when I've got enough of them. I got a whole can full over there. I've got a couple cases over here. Eggshells are really good to put into the hole when you're going to plant like tomatoes in, anyway, for calcium. I've got rabbits. I've got a couple of rabbits. I save all of their droppings to put into the garden, and we've also got chickens that we save their chicken poo, because those are all really good natural fertilizers where you can stay away from, you know, the electric blue looking stuff. So that has killed lots of my plants in the past, and I'm never, ever, ever going near that stuff again. So anyway, let me get back to this, and I hope I don't make a huge mess. I probably will. Oh, okay. So, stay down. I'm going to fill this up. And we want to use seed starting. See, this says seed starting. You want to use that because it's literally like fresh, fallen, light, fluffy snow. You know, the type of snow that you can't make a snowball out of and you can just blow it off your windshield. That's the kind of snow that we all love up here in northern Maine because we can just like sweep it away. That's what this potting mix is like. It's just light and fluffy, and the seedlings are not going to have to fight the soil to germinate. Okay? They're just not going to have to. All right. So, now that I have that, and I have it in a tray, I am going to get some water. Believe it or not, this soil will, and a lot of people argue that it won't, it will repel the water. No, it will absorb this water. It will. And then I'm just going to put a little bit on top, mix it around. These seeds are so small. So small. Wait, do you see how small these seeds are? Okay, some of you have probably seen them before. I could be using my watering can right now, but I'm silly. some people like pre-moisten all of their mix in the bag. I don't do that. I don't know why. Because if I'm not going to use it all at once, I just don't want all that moisture in there for no reason, I guess. So I just do this, and now it's looking really nice. Alright, so now I'm just going to pat this down. Yes, pat it down because you don't want those air bubbles in there or air pockets or empty spaces. So I'm just going to pat it down. Okay. Looks lovely. And there is a bit of water on the bottom still. And yes, it will absorb in. Promise. Okay. So these Snapdragons have a shorter maturity date than these. So I'm going to start these today. And, you know, some people, I do a lot of things with red and white. These are white, these are red. I don't really care where I plant them. I'll be able to tell the difference between a red one and a white one. These are so small. I mean, look at this. Oh my gosh, look at this. How am I going to do this? I have, look at. It's like pepper. It's like pepper. They're so small. I have to divide this into threes. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so stressful. Okay, I might have a little bit of a panic attack. I need more light. It's the middle of the day, but these are so small. Right, you want dry hands too. You don't want to handle the seeds that you're not sowing today. You don't want to get any of your moisture onto them because then you're going to get your moisture onto them and you're going to put them back into the bag and moisture in bags and then you're going to destroy your seeds. So, oy vey, these are so small. Trying to get a third, right? Trying to get a third out of that. I guess I got a third. Which ones are these? Ivory. All right, here we go. I'm going to sprinkle them ever so gently on top. And it's a good thing to have nails because you can scoop it in your nail, and you don't want them all to land in one spot either. You want them to, oh, they're so small. I can never get over it. They're smaller than a grain of salt. These are tiny. But I just don't want them to all fall in one spot. So if you want to fast forward 10 seconds on this is all I'm going to do. Trying to concentrate and only pick one or two up at a time. Get out of my nail. Get in the corners. Spread them out because, I mean, we're going to have to separate these in a couple of weeks and transplant them into little yogurt cups or juice cups, so that'll be interesting. Okay, so I got the ivory in. I'll try and put some pictures of what these beautiful Madame Butterfly Snapdragons look like. They're gorgeous. You could also just go to Johnny's Seed Co. And just look up undercut flowers, go to Snapdragons, go to Madame Butterfly. I've got the red and the ivory here. So the red are going in now. Ooh! Trying to get just a third. Okay. Get back in there. Okay. I think I got a third. A third-ish. Too many. Get in there. Yes, fingernails come in handy sometimes. I'm trying to be so precise about where I'm putting these, and then once they germinate, they'll all be in one spot anyway. Because that's just the way it rolls around here. It's stuck in my nail. Get in there. Make sure I'm getting in the corners, the edges. I don't want them all in the middle. So like I said, you can hit the fast forward button if you don't want to watch this part. I'm almost done. Right, done. Yay! Okay, so I have just successfully planted, sowed. I gotta remember to keep saying sowed because that's the technical term. That's the correct term. My first succession plant of Snapdragons, and they're so beautiful. I can't wait for them to grow. All right, so I've read the back of the seed packet 80 million times, and there's a couple things I can do now. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to lightly, I mean just salt the top of this with more. Some packets say this isn't even necessary, but I just want to give them a little tiny bit of protection because I'm going to have to surface water and I don't want to blow my seeds away. But my soil right now is very, 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 very moist. And so that little bit on top is also going to help prevent algae growth, which I don't want. And I also have to make sure I rip this sticker off because that's going to block the light. I probably should have done that already. But anyway, I'll do that in a minute. So that's it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go put them under the grow lights. That could be another video. I have a system, a shelving system with just garage lights that you can get right at Walmart or on Amazon or whatever, hanging from the top of each shelf, and these babies will sit under that constantly, except at nighttime. Obviously, I turn it on when I wake up and I turn it off when I go to bed, for a long time. At least the next 10 weeks, they'll be under the grow lights, and then I'll slowly but surely start acclimating them to being outside and go from there. So I'm going to take you on this journey with me with the Snapdragons and the pinching and the succession planting and all of that, and it'll be fun. I hope you enjoyed this video. I thank you so much for tuning in and pushing that little triangle when you saw my face go by your screen. Thank Jesus for something today. I thank Jesus for you watching this video, and I thank Jesus for giving me the knowledge and the flexibility and the time to research this subject that I love so much, and I thank Jesus for coffee. All the time. All right. Be blessed. Bye.